It is day one of my crazy decision of becoming a minimalist, or at least decluttering my life and being more of a minimalist lifestyle. And I was trying to find my tripod for my phone, and I don't have my tripod, so I'm going to try and kind of navigate this a little bit and show you guys clips of the process. So I already created a proposal for myself of how my decluttering process is going to go. I've created a checklist, and this has been all based off of research that I have been doing on being minimalists, just kind of following people's blogs and what they've been doing. And I would say that, I mean, I'm going to talk more about it in a different discussion, but my approach on being a minimalist is not actually just getting rid of everything and only having a few things to my name, but more of having a more mindful attitude about what the things that I do have and how, if they bring me joy, things like that. So today I decided to take on kind of an easy task because of the collection is so small, but also kind of, it's a little bit more of a larger collection just because of it is a very emotional collection to me, and that is my piano books. So a little bit about my piano history. I have been playing the piano for at least 20 years now. I started playing when I was probably 4 or 5, and I had lessons at 4 or 5. And so now I'm to the point where I have so many piano books and I don't play probably the majority of them. So I'm trying to ask myself to only collect and save the books that I use regularly and that I would dearly miss. And that's my project for today. So to start out with, here's my piano, and I'm sitting really close to it. It's already kind of bare. So the lamp is actually a lamp that I have had for, I want to say all the way until I was in high school. And then the artwork is something that my sister made for me, and I couldn't really explain the candles. They they don't mean anything. I don't really even know where they came from. But that is it. And so then I want to show you the collection itself. I usually keep my piano books in a chest, like right here. And as you can see, it's empty. So this is my guitar, and I'm going to just leave that as is. And these two bags are definitely something that I'm going to be figuring out what to do with them. But right now, the backpack is usually what I take when I go to church and I do in the choir, because I can carry my binder and I can carry my notebooks and things like that with me. The actual purse, the handbag of holding, is something that I'm going to probably get rid of because there's no reason for me to have one, and I actually have 2 of them, so that's already one thing. But then here is the collection itself. Let me kind of zoom out here. So that is all of the piano books that I own. It is not all of the hymn books that I own because I do actually collect old hymn books. But the ones over here in the pile over here, they're actually just regular. There's nothing really special about them other than they're like all dog-eared. As you can see, I have all my dog ears right here. So it's one that I probably will keep, but I think I have another version of it. Yeah. So there's no reason for me to have all these. But this pile of books right here, like you can see, there's a lot of them there. And my project is to go through these, and I'm actually really nervous about going through these because the last time that I did a big cleaning through of all of my piano books was when we actually had a mouse in our house. And we do, sometimes we get mice in our house when it's really cold because the house will be really warm, and we have a field behind us. And so when they usually cut the hay and everything, then they all somehow end up coming to our yard. And we were kind of having a hard time getting him caught because we couldn't figure out how he was even getting in and out. And so he found his way into my storage unit, which had all my other music books, and he made a mess in there. And so I actually ended up getting rid of a lot of books that I was actually kind of attached to. But I think that this is going to be an easier cleanse because after having that experience, I kind of have realized that I did okay without having those. There's only a few books that I find myself actually missing, and I actually ended up rebuying one of them. And for the amount of books that I ended up losing over that experience and only replacing one of them, I feel like I'm gonna come out of this cleanse of music books pretty well. Okay, so far we are like 20 minutes into this project, and I think I've only gone through maybe like 5 books. I mean, there was definitely some on top where I was like, yep, definitely like keeping this one. And then I got to this, And this is kind of one where, like, okay, so I had my rules in my proposal, and I was like, okay, you only play one song in the book. There's no reason to keep the book when you can just go and buy the song and get rid of them. So this is one of them where my exception does not work because there is literally only one song in here that I play, but I kind of feel like I just can't let this one go because there is a song in here. There's this one right here, and this one, and my like phone is like trying to zoom on it. I cannot get myself to get rid of this because this was actually one of my recital pieces, and this was a really huge song for me. Like, doing the song, it took me a year at least to memorize this. And then I used this song to audition for a scholarship at this university, and the long story short, it was probably one of the most devastating moments of my entire life. I learned a lot about the real world that day and how the real world works. And so I mean, this is one of those moments where when we declutter and we do this mindful decluttering, that we get rid of the things that cause us stress, or that, you know, if they have a memory that is not a positive memory, then obviously you don't want to keep it, right? But I don't know why I'm such a sentimental person that I'm really having a hard time getting myself convinced to just let this one go. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give myself a pass on this one. And I'm going to remind myself that if I have not played this in a year, I should say 6 months, but I'm kind of hoping that I'm going to be able to narrow all this stuff down well enough that by the end of the year, maybe that's more practical, because why should I have to do this every 6 months, right? That's the goal, is to not have to do this at all. But I think that I'm going to give myself a year. And if I do not, at least, like, if I've not re-established a more positive connection to this piece, I need to let it go, or I need to actually just really reflect on this memory so that I can actually let it go in a way, you know? And so I guess that's my overall, like, this is hard. I was thinking that this was going to be easy because when I was planning on my minimizing this collection, I was like, you know what? Really, there's ever only maybe 10 books on top of this piano right here. Those must be the only 10 books that I play. And now that I see what's the rest of my collection, I'm kind of like starting to panic because I'm like, I completely forgot that I had this. Or in this case, like, I knew I had it. I mean, part of me is like, why didn't the mouse destroy this one? Then I would have just had a different memory, right? So it has been an hour and I am pretty much done. I have gone through everything. I have not organized it yet. I'm not really sure how I'm going to organize it yet, but I kind of feel like, you know, I had that one piece that I brought up that was a recital piece that kind of had a really significant meaning. And I mean, once I pretty much established that piece, everything else was smooth sailing. There was a lot of books that I have, worship music, that I'm like, oh, you know what? I have these in almost every other book. If you're like into worship music and you hate the idea of getting a ton of books, I love these, all the best songs of praise and worship. I have every one of them. There's 4 of these, and I kind of felt like by having these, I got rid of quite a bit of books, because I found that, yes, there were other, like, the same song would be in theirs, and some of the books did have some of the, you know, songs that weren't in here, but they weren't necessarily songs that I was like torn up about by not having access to. They're like songs that I either are not in my range, or I don't see myself playing them. So that was an easy swap. I did find some really random treasures. One of them was I found my high school portfolio choir book and the music that I bought for that. And so that was kind of funny for when I took voice lessons when I was a senior. So I found a lot of the material that I had there, and I've decided that was going to be kind of put together with that other book where it's just more of like memory keeping. And after a year, if I'm like, you know what, I haven't looked at it at all, then maybe I can just, like, you know, establish the memory, write about the memory so that it's there, but then just get rid of it, because obviously I'm not using it. But I wanted to give myself a chance, even though they've literally been in that chest for 7 years and I haven't done anything with them. So that was kind of a big and easy step. So this is my progress. Basically, that entire stack of music that was over here, I've divided it in half. As you can see, like this is almost perfectly even with this pile here. And so everything in this top pile right here is what I am keeping. It's a lot of it is musicals and one sheets. And this pile right here is what I'm keeping too. I just wanted to like a friendly little reminder when I was going through all the worship music that this was what I was keeping instead of some of the other ones. So this over here, I am going to keep all of these. I'm actually just set them aside because they need to be rebound. So I'm going to go take those to the university's press copy center and have them rebind them. And then this is what I'm keeping. So this is what I'm keeping. So I have Frozen, Evanescence, some Mario. Here's some one-sheeters. Some classics, some more one-sheeters, Barlow Girls, Pirates. Here's the Disney book I was talking about, Imagine Dragons, some more Wish Ship ones. I like this one, even though it's really easy, because it has a disc that comes with it, and so I think that's really cool. And I do play this one quite a bit. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Battlestar Galactica. Here is my practice. I do love these as kind of practice songs. Christmas, another Christmas down here. Here is another Praise and Worship. Some Star Wars, Legally Blonde, and then all the rest of this is, hold on. Here's Newsboys. Here's a big classic piano pieces. And then everything else here. Oh, just kidding. Here's the one piece that I can't talk about. This is some devotional music. And then everything else is just a bunch of one pieces. And I just, I really like them, so it didn't seem like it needed for me to get rid of them. I thought this was going to be a lot harder. I think because I do get emotionally attached to things, and that's kind of why, one of the reasons why I want to declutter is to get rid of some of those attachments. And also because I have kind of a hoarder personality. I wouldn't say that we're hoarders, but I definitely think that that could like develop into something, because I do get this like, oh, well, I don't want to get rid of it because I might need it later. And that never seems to happen. So I'm actually pretty excited, because if you look at this, I mean, this is all of my music that I'm keeping over here. And this is the music that I'm getting rid of. And it is at least half of my collection. So anyways, this has been a really great experience. Thanks for hanging out with me. So basically the next project is going to be my actual books. And those of you that don't know me, I am a book hoarder. I have so many books that I have actually listed on my to-do list checklist. I listed them by category, like area, so that I can divide and conquer it more successfully than just like pulling out every single book that I have in the house. And so I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you are interested in seeing that video when it comes up. So have a great week.